Gamify Your Life, playa.
I feel like in a perfect world, everyone is supposed to come with you, but everybody is not supposed to come with you. This dawned on me because I am moving to New York. I'm moving to New York and I just signed a lease on like a penthouse loft. It's a beautiful place and I'm doubling my rent. I just bought myself a new Porsche. I've upgraded, my looks. I've upgraded my spirit. I've upgraded my mindset. And, in every single stage of my glow up, inevitably I've lost somebody. Some would argue, they were jealous of you. They were secret haters. But I don't think that's always the case. I think every single situation is different. But when you start to operate on a certain frequency, and another person isn't, it's bound. No, everybody's not supposed to come with you.
Nope, and everybody can't come with you. And sometimes it's not about a person being a hater. Like you just said, your frequency winds up being off. And you can think about frequencies as like a walkie-talkie. If I'm on channel 3 and you on channel 3, we got a clear connection with each other. But if I'm on channel 3 and you on channel 7, there's going to be some disconnect. We're not going to be able to communicate as well as we used to because we're not on the same thing. And it's not because you don't like the person or the person don't like you, even though some people don't understand what's happening at the moment. It's just there's a disconnect. We don't connect no more. That line, that frequency ain't there no more. And it's time for us to move on because you want to grow and you want to be tapped into better things in life. Somebody else, they may not be wanting to grow and tap into better things in life.
Multiple friendship breakups in my life, and I don't think anybody was overtly at fault. Always come when I've been trying to better myself. I had one friendship breakup where I left law school. I called this person that I was leaving law school. They stopped talking to me like that day. I had a friendship breakup where I told the friend, like, I don't want to talk about how we hate men all the time. I don't want to talk about men all the time. I don't want to complain all the time. I don't want to have these therapy sessions. Like, I want to talk about, I want to plan trips and I want to talk about fun things and I want to talk about bettering ourselves and done.
And conversations like that is important. In your circle, what kind of conversations are you having? Does your conversations contain life or does your conversations contain death? Because some conversations, like she's saying, people always talking about problems, worries, issues, and stuff like that. Those are dead conversations. It's always on a decline with those. But when you're talking about things like grinding, climbing that mountain, trips, making more money, taking care of your family, becoming better physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially, come on, those are the conversations you want to have. They feel different. They have energy. They have motivation. They have momentum. All right? Those what you call life conversations.
Done. And that's also my perspective on anything that's ever happened. And there's obviously deeper layers to all of those stories. And, I've been a bad friend sometimes. I've had bad friends sometimes. I've gone through friendship breakups. I've re-mended friends. I've been through it all. But it still keeps playing in my head. I'm like, why is it that whenever I decide to turn inward a little bit more, or to focus on myself a little bit more, or to make a life change for myself, is it that I always end up losing a friend? Because it's very hurtful. Friendship breakups are very, very, very hurtful. Now, there is a sentiment that friends sometimes are only for seasons. Sometimes that season is for 10 years. Sometimes that season is for 5 years. Sometimes that season is for 5 months. You could argue the same thing with romantic relationships. This whole conversation can be, redirected to romantic relationships, but it still hurts the same. It still hurts when you're trying to upgrade your life and you don't understand why people can't see that does kind of take stepping back. That does kind of take not going out as much. That does take, changing the cadence of a conversation. That does take, a certain elevation of who you are. Optimistic part of me likes to think that whatever next stage God is bringing me into, whatever next part of my glow up journey, part of my elevation is supposed to be, that for some reason that person in my life would inhibit what God has planned for me. I like to think of it that way, because if I start to think I start to think of like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Maybe I am changing too much. Who do I really think that I am? And that's such a negative route of thinking, because at the end of the day, truly, it doesn't have to be absolutely, but you are kind of who you surround yourself with. And we do accept the love that we think we deserve. So if
this AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book, complete with design, images, layout.
Around friends that are, making bad choices, always complaining about a guy, not caring about themselves, always talking down upon ourselves. At least for me, someone that's very empathetic, that can kind of leak into who I am, and I can start adapting my frequency to that level. I personally cannot be around that, especially because I see this lifestyle for me, I see this life for me so clearly, that now I feel like in the past I used to be a people pleaser. Like, I would have adapted my frequency. I feel like nowadays, I'm about to be 28, very cutthroat, almost to the point of too cutthroat. That's also like another thing. Like, where do you find the balance? You either
you find the balance with empathy, because a lot of times when you are on your grind and you are searching to be that better person, some people, they let their ego get the best of them. So they start feeling like they're better than everybody else, and then they're the ones who's actually causing the problem. But with empathy, you have an understanding that a person has not reached a certain particular level yet, and they might not be where you at, and that's okay. And if that is your friend, if there are qualities that you do appreciate in your life, you figure out like, okay, I can connect with this person on this level. Like, that might be a gym buddy, but you can't talk about finances or relationships with them. So y'all connect on the gym level. Then you have somebody else where you might be able to connect with them on finances and building businesses, but then they don't really do the relationship game. They might be a player. You might be somebody who was into like marriage and stuff. So you can only connect with them on certain things. So you got to be able to evaluate the people around you. Understand that this is your movie. You are the director, and you have to see which characters, which roles is everybody playing, and how will they interact in this movie. This is your story. Remember, this is your life. You are special. There's only one you. This is your world. So you have to be the creator of the things that you are experiencing and the things that you want to experience.
Accept this treatment and you've been friends for this amount of years, like whatever. Or do you just cut off that person at this first sign of a red flag? Do you have a conversation? Do you have boundaries? These are all things I feel like in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, throughout our life that we struggle with, like adult female friendships, the boundaries that come with it. I hate those relationships where you're almost scared or nervous to tell someone about good news. I feel like there's definitely things that I've had to work on. Kind of the purpose of a glow up journey is understanding that there's things that you have to work on. There's things that you want to elevate in your life. There's things that you want to better in your life. Unfortunately, coming to terms with losing friends on your glow up journey is something that is such a hard pill to swallow. On the other hand of things, that while I do feel like a deep friendship takes time to develop, I have found every single time I've lost a friend, in the next year, 2 years, time doesn't matter, I've always met somebody where I'm like, oh, okay, I reached this level, I met you on this level, like this works for who I am right now. I remember, one time I went to New York and I met a couple content creator friends, and I sat down at dinner with them, and the conversations we were having, and the depth of things we were talking about, and the female camaraderie and the hyping up and the compliments and everything like that. I'm like, this is what I want out of a female friendship. This is what I want at this stage of my life. This is, what I crave at this point of my glow up journey. And that should make you feel good. Like whenever you're losing a friend, it's hard. It hurts. It sucks. But you have to know that by you pouring into yourself, by you working on yourself is you working on becoming a better friend for that friend that you deserve in the future, for that relationship that you deserve in the future. But it all starts with you. Sometimes in the worst of heartbreaks comes the biggest glow up possible, whether that's glowing up in personal relationships, whether that's glowing up in the gym, whether it's glowing up physically, inside, spiritually, whatever it might be. Sometimes it takes a heartbreak, it takes a rock bottom, it takes losing friends to really turn inward, to look at yourself, to see what you need to work on, to be a better person for yourself first and then others as well.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes it's that adversity. Remember, pressure makes diamonds. All right. The only thing I probably will push back on is it doesn't have to be a painful journey. Once you understand who you are as a person and you are conscious of how life works, people are going to come, people are going to go, and you have to expect it. All you can do is appreciate the time that you have with everybody you connect with. Because when we have gratitude by just meeting people who add something to our life, it can be an amazing thing. All right. But sometimes some of us be too possessive, right? Just enjoy the journey. If you enjoy the journey, you are appreciating the experiences and you are embracing the journey and how it's shaping and molding you into a better you. Relationships don't have to be painful. Friendships, losing friends don't have to be painful, because you understand if something is leaving your life, it was that time. And a lot of times with losses, the follow-up is much better, because sometimes things subtract from your life because you need room for all the things that's going to be added to your life. A lot of us, we're just holding on to stuff and we don't realize that your capacity is full. You have to let some things go in order to experience new things, in order to get to that next level. And that's how you gamify your life when it comes to losing friends, losing relationships, and leveling up. So don't take it as a loss, take it as a gain. Because remember, you did not work this hard to stay the same. Stay sturdy, my people.